Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of Southwest Connections, our new campus-based show where we introduce you to some of the Mustang family that helps make Southwest the great place it is. I'm Bill Mulso, and I'm your host this week, and this is our opportunity to let you meet some of the people that make Southwest the great place that it is. My guest this week is President Kumara Jayasuriya. No longer new to campus, he has a full year under his belt, and so we're excited to have him leading the way here at SMSU. Welcome, Kumara.
Thank you, Bill.
So you said when you arrived on campus that you wanted to take some time and get to meet the people and learn a little bit about Southwest, get to know the culture of SMSU. What have you learned about the culture here at SMSU so far?
Well, as you know, I've been going around last year prior to COVID and meeting people and talking to people, but since March I haven't done that, but I am part of the culture now. I'm part of the community, so I'm immersed in it. But here's what I have learned, okay? I can tell you that we have world-class faculty and very, very dedicated staff members here on campus. And for the most part, our students are very happy. And there are several students who told me coming to SMSU was the best decision they have ever made. So I'm very happy to hear those type of things from our students. We have very nice facilities here. Look at the Regional Events Center. That looks amazing, right? And our student center is pretty new, very well renovated and things like that. So, yeah, that's kind of what I am learning. And, you know, every month I get to know something new, like farmlands we own and research that our faculty members do. So, yeah, it's very interesting time.
Is there anything about that culture that's really surprised you that you weren't expecting?
Not particularly about the culture, but I can tell you, coming in, I knew that SMSU had a good relationship with the Marshall community, but the surprise was that kind of like the symbiotic relationship we have with Southwest region. You know, each entity depends a lot on the other. And SMSU is the economic engine for the Southwest region. And we have about $175 million impact on the region, economic impact on the region. At the same time, we rely on the support of the region, and we depend on the students who come to us. So that relationship, I didn't realize how critical that relationship was prior to coming in.
Good. Obviously, COVID-19 changed the landscape for higher education all across the country. With COVID-19, how did that change your leadership style here this past year?
Well, I can tell you, I'm really glad we are part of a system, and I'm very grateful to Chancellor Malhotra and everyone at the system level for their guidance. But our workload here has doubled, tripled, and in some cases has quadrupled, right? As you know, Vice President Kirkard has been working diligently since March, and feel like she's on 24/7 on call since COVID started. So, as Chancellor once said, we are building the plane as we fly. So everything that comes at us is new and never has been taken care of. So we have to work together to find solutions. So I think for the most part, we have done a great job because of our team. And I can tell you, health and safety of our students, faculty, and staff is our #1 priority. So we are monitoring it very closely.
We were in a unique position here at SMSU when we had to make that move to online learning. We just started the COLT, or Center for Online Learning and Teaching. What impressed you the most about SMSU's kind of rapid move to online course delivery?
Yeah, so talking about COLT, I really like that acronym because of the relationship to Mustang, right? They did a good job. So Dan Barn and some faculty members like Pam Gladys in the library, they worked very hard to create COLT, but that was prior to pandemic. We were in a very good position when the pandemic hit in March because we had to put all our courses on completely online in 2 weeks, but since we had done a lot of work up to that point to do that, it was still hard. It's like I said before, it's a Herculean effort, but through collaboration and a lot of hard work, our faculty and staff made it happen, and we got our students to the finish line of the semester. So I'm very glad for their dedication for students' success.
Speaking of our faculty and staff, one of the things that we always pride ourselves on at SMSU is our personal attention. And this last spring, the faculty and staff really stepped up, and one of the efforts that occurred was personal calls were made to our students just to check in on them and make sure they had what they need as we made that transition. Did we learn anything from that, or anything that you want to see us carry on moving forward?
Sure, that's a great question. So it was one of the bargaining unit leaders who suggested that we call people during the spring semester. We call students to see how well they are doing. And we did that. Many people volunteered to do that. We called, and students responded very positively. And they loved it that somebody called and asked how they're doing during uncertain times. So this semester we are going to call twice. And I volunteered to call 50 students. And hopefully all of you will join us in calling our students to see how they're doing.
It's a great initiative, and I think it'll be very appreciated by our students. Every fall, one of the most common questions we get is, how's enrollment? And I think you have some good news to share on the enrollment front.
Very good news, very good news. So in spite of the pandemic, we are up, and we are one of the very few campuses in the country that has increase in enrollment, let alone in our system. But there are 4 things I'm very proud of. One is that we are up in enrollment. Number 2, we increased our incoming new freshman class by 17.5%. So a lot of kudos to our admission team, including Rich Shearer, who's the interim enrollment director of enrollment management. So we have done well in that. And 2 other things. Another one is that the number of students of color has gone up. It was at 21% last year. Now it's at 32%. So that's a pretty big plus for our university. And the other thing is the retention rate went up. So all those are very, very positive things that are happening.
And it's exciting when you can talk about enrollment growth, especially in a time like this. It does a lot for campus morale.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then this retention rate, as you know, first year to second year retention rate, which was at 74%, around 74%, that is the highest in 20 years. And I think, I haven't checked this, but I don't know any other regional campus that has a retention rate that high. So we are very, very proud of our team.
Doing good things. Growing enrollment is obviously vital to the health of SMSU, and you've carried that message first and foremost, and you carried it again into the fall. Mustang Pathways is one of the new initiatives that you started last year as a way to grow enrollment. Tell me a little bit about the program and what your enrollment goal is for this fall.
Yeah, so that program is geared towards minority students, Pell eligible students, meaning their expected family contribution to their education is almost zero. And then first generation students, that means none of their parents have gone to college, right? So those are the students who need the most help, because in terms of finances and also getting prepared for college, because they don't have anyone to guide them through the process. So we started this program called Mustang Pathway. What we are doing there is we started this residential 5-week program. It's completely free for students. They came to campus and went through that. And at the end, if they were successful, we admitted them to our university. And then throughout the year, we are planning to put wraparound services such as tutoring, writing center, and things like that, help in writing skills, things like that, to make them successful.
And I think your goal, I think you shared for the campus, is I want to see 80 students in that program.
Yeah, so this year we had 18, and then we are hoping to have 80 in this program.
That's a good program, and it's going to be fun to see how those students progress and the success that they have as they move through the program. One of your early goals last year was to increase the number of online programs that the campus offered, from start to finish. I think you challenged the campus with 5, and by the end of the year, I think we were over 10, and certainly COVID helped expedite some of that. But what would you like to see SMSU's position be in the online degree delivery areas kind of moving forward?
So it was before COVID, right?
Yes, exactly.
So these are overachievers, bunch of overachievers we have on our campus. The goal was 5, and before COVID, I was told we have 12 ready to start in the fall. But yeah, you're right. So we can have more online programs, but I think we are at a good place now in terms of number of programs. So what I like to do is market this well in not only in Marshall, but also outside the state, like in California and some other places, because there are more than 30 million people who have some college but no degree. Those are the students we are targeting to get them back to earn their degree. So what I like to do is just get our online programs 12 to a certain level before we start new online programs.
Goal is to get more students enrolled in them, not necessarily
Definitely
additional programs. Good.
Yeah.
And enrollment, stability, and growth, as you mentioned earlier, isn't just focused on new students. Retention is always critical. In your State of the University address, you talked about an initiative called 15 to Finish. Tell us a little bit about 15 to Finish.
Okay, so you don't need a mathematician to count this, although I'm a mathematician. But so students taking 15 credit hours each semester. If they don't take summer classes, then they take 30 credit hours a year. And 30 times 4 is 120. That's what they need to finish their degree. So 15 to Finish initiative is for them to finish their degree in 4 years. Some people might say, why is that important? So they have done some research and came up with a number that says on average it costs them $50,000 extra to stay another year to finish their degree. That is for their tuition, room and board, and also for the opportunity that costs being out of the market. So for every extra year, they spend $50,000 more. So that's why we want students to finish in 4 years. That's why we are doing 15 to Finish initiative this year.
Very good. SMSU was recently notified that we've been a recipient of a $580,000 grant from the Minnesota State System and MDRC for our Success initiative, which is scaling up college completion efforts for student success. What will this grant do for students over the next few years here at SMSU?
Yeah. So first, I want to thank our team who worked very hard to get this grant for us, and so this will allow us to hire some success coaches, so we can retain more students when they are missing classes. So if they get a lower grade than they should, they can call and see what's going on and offer help. And another thing that they will monitor is something called gateway courses and milestone courses. If they are not doing well in those courses, they will intervene and see what we can do to help them. So it's all about student success.
Very good. Recruitment and retention, again, are top priorities. And with that, we've had some exciting enhancements start to take place out in our residence this all summer. Tell us a little bit about what happened in our residence halls this summer and what we can expect here moving forward.
Yeah, as you know, we had a very generous donor who gave some funds for us to work on the residence halls. We have about 6 legacy halls, and we took one, a GW complex. There are 4 houses in it, and we did some landscaping, painted the building, put air conditioning in lounges, completely renovated the kitchen, so they look beautiful. So our plan is to get to another complex and then also put some air conditioning in student rooms, change the lighting around the residence halls to LED lights, those kind of things. So that project will start as soon as students leave the residence halls.
It's a nice way of upgrading some of those, as you call them, legacy halls, which I think is a great way of defining those halls that have been around since the early days of the institution. So
yeah, we have good new halls like Sweetland and Foundation Apartments, but we need to bring these to that level.
So we officially started the year with a new vision statement, and that is that SMSU aspires to be recognized throughout Minnesota and beyond for being an inclusive and student-centered university. As we start the year with that new vision in place, what are your goals for this academic year?
So goals, first of all, a system-wide goal is to eliminate the achievement gaps of different student groups by 2030. We call that Equity 2030. So work towards Equity 2030. Enrollment is very important, so I want to increase enrollment by 3%. Freshman class, again, we increased it by 17.5% now. Let's try to increase it again by 10%. Mustang Pathway, 80 students. I like to get our retention rate to at least 80%. So I said for next year, I want it to be around 75%. So there are many other goals, including those. I want to finish the strategic plan. So our 5-year strategic plan ended last year. So we are doing new planning for the next 5 years. So that is going on. So those are some of the goals for this year.
Lofty goals, and I think people are just excited to be back on campus and working towards those goals again.
Definitely.
Kumara, one last question for you. If you could tell a prospective student and their family why SMSU is the best place for them, what would it be?
Well, that's the easiest question for me, right? So if you or your loved one is looking for a world-class education at an affordable price, at a place where people care about you and respect you, and you can leave your home and come to the campus and never felt like you left your home, SMSU is where you belong.
Thank you, Kumara.
Thank you.
Well, coming up next week is homecoming week here at SMSU, and obviously with COVID-19, it's going to look a little bit different, but we do still have a number of things going on. Our theme this year is Mustangs Come Together 6 feet apart. There are a number of events taking place next week. First of all, we'll have a medallion hunt that'll be community-wide. Mustangs Got Talent is being held, but this year it's being held virtually, so be sure to check that out online. On Saturday, of course, we have the homecoming parade, which will still take place, and the Legacy 5K and 10K races will also be happening. So there are a number of different things that will be happening. We encourage you to tune in all week long on SMSU Today and follow us on social media. We'll be recognizing our alumni award winners throughout the week and sharing some of that information that you normally would get to see in person, but unfortunately this year, a lot of it is going to be done virtually. So once again, thank you to President Jayasuriya for joining us on Southwest Connections. Be sure to tune in again in 2 weeks when Michelle Knife Sterner will be our guest here. Thanks for watching.